Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, which at this point in time is still catching up with XCOM in terms of gameplay series, and the rest is on par with the content here from YouTube, and of course archive post from the blogger site there, and also post everything on Patreon for extra support. Today I'm not going to do any gameplay series. I'm going to do the interval today. So then Thursday, which is tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, I will introduce the Jedi Fallen Order gameplay, hopefully. Tomorrow it's XCOM, then afterwards is Prey, then I should be introducing the Jedi Fallen Order gameplay series there. In the background, I managed to get around recording some more Prey episodes, and I've been enjoying pretty much this game, as the Master System still holds up very well. And yeah, so I can have like a backlog, so I can focus also a little bit more on Star Wars stuff. And XCOM I usually record 1 or 2 episodes maximum, mainly because I never know if there's going to be like a request for an introduction of a new squad member there. But yeah, basically this is it regarding the channel. Let's talk about a little bit on the CES stuff here and there. This one, I covered this kind of technology, the LPC AMM2 memory kind of a thing, which is low power compression attached memory model, which is going to, I think, revolutionize, because since the introduction of SODIMMs in 1997, at least that form factor, this is basically a new thing. Basically it uses kind of DDR5X kind of a thing here, memory sticks here, so increases memory bandwidth and speeds, and it has a huge flexibility in terms of capacities in terms of memory. The fact that it is smaller, faster, speedier, which is faster, and more efficient also. Well, basically it's like 61% lower power, 71% better performance, like in productivity works like web browsing and all that stuff, those little things that don't consume a lot of power, so it's even more efficient in that, and 64% space savings regarding SODIMM modules there. I saw a video, an image of showcasing the space that you save, and the fact that, again, it's a new technology. The fact that you can replace easy enough, like a M.2 kind of a thing, like a M.2 SSD, you can with some screws here and there, it's just replaceable. Yeah, it's pretty good, and basically Micron has officially unveiled this kind of a thing, and at this moment in time it offers almost like the double in terms of speed. I think almost it will start off with 7500 against the 50, no, it's like 50% off, but yeah, got like the highlights here. So it's higher performance, up to 80% system standby power savings. Got some caveats here in some certain situation, but overall it's way better. 7% better performance for digital content creation workloads, which is good. 15% improvement on productivity workloads, like web browsing and such. The modularity and to enable critical serviceability, and this can be used for the user, not only for like you need to go to a shop to replace this kind of things, the modules there, and it's basically a single PCB for all module capacity, so there is no SODIMMs like 1 or 2 modules, it's just one module, and it's customizable throughout the capacities and everything. And yeah, and it's going to save battery a lot, because while you do idle or do stuff like this, web browsing and like work on an Excel spreadsheet or similar to that, it provides a lot of savings in terms of power. So I think batteries can remain kind of the same, and the workloads that memory uses, and uses a lot in this kind of small things, because it needs to be cached in the DDR kind of a thing there. But yeah, they are officially announcing they already start producing stuff. It will come out like delivering on manufacturers of the laptops and the such throughout this year. I don't know, maybe late this year we will start to see some laptops or like I don't know if it even applies to tablets kind of a thing there, but it's where it leads to in terms of revolutionizing the thing. I think it will be pretty good. In terms of price, I don't know how it's going to handle this in terms of price, if it's going to be more expensive or not. And I think even the manufacturing process is it's smaller. I'm not sure. I covered that in terms of manufacturing process, but yeah, it's an overall improvement, and the fact that this is going to be easy for the end user, people that are not that how do I say it, that they are not that used to getting around and open a laptop on everything or anything like that. I think it's going to be more easier and less daunting for first timers that have like a product with this kind of thing to replace like the memory. But yeah, I think it's a good step ahead, and we will see especially how it comes in terms of prices here. We got also, I watched this, I covered this, and the dark mode, okay. Yeah, the no wire stuff, motherboards, they are pushing ahead, especially from ASUS, with a 4090 BTF, which is supposedly, I don't know, it's a special edition for these connectors. And yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go. I already talked the backdoors of powering GPUs, especially high-end GPUs like the 4090, and the fact that you have to have at least 60 watts of connection, power delivery connection on the motherboard itself, because it fully integrates on the motherboard. Plus the fact that a 4090 is heavy, and I've been seeing a lot in some brands. I think Gigabyte is the most one of those, but also ASUS. The Strix cards, they are all metal. A lot of breaking on the PCB here, side of things here, which is not good. And the fact that you have the power dependent on the board itself as a PCB. If it breaks, it's an unused card because it's part of the PCB. There is no way of replacing the connector as a 12 volt power stuff there, or like a PCIe connector there. Yeah, this is integrated on the board. Plus the fact that you have to deliver 600 up to 600 watts power through the motherboard, through the traces of the motherboard. So the motherboard has to increase a lot in terms of power insulation, power delivery. Of course, he has to handle all that power and the heat dissipation of that power. I'm not sure how this is going to work in terms of long terms, how it degrades or not the motherboard itself, the traces inside the motherboard, because when you have like the ease of use and replacement of something, you can replace a cable pretty much easily enough from even from a PSU. All of them now are basically modular. It's rare the case that you have like non-modular PSUs, so power supply units. Yeah, you can replace one of those. You can even replace connectors even in the GPU, but if something bad happens on the side of the motherboard, like the traces just, I don't know, something happens, whatever it is, or even in the GPU side of things, I don't see how you're going to replace this or repair this unless you basically have to buy a new motherboard, because you cannot, it's inconceivable to repair a motherboard, especially in this kind of scenarios here, and the same thing goes to the GPU. I think it's one of the main drawbacks regarding this kind of technology here, even though it looks pretty without the wires, especially regarding in terms of safe spacings on the case itself. I really struggle a little bit to, I don't know, it doesn't seem kind of right to me. They even came about with this kind of adapter, which bending the cables like this is not it's not very good. like the image shows, but it's mainly for mini ITX. It's only applicable on mini ITX because, of course, the power delivery is on the side of motherboards. You have a normal ATX. If it doesn't have the thing there that ASUS, like this connector here, it's useless, the GPU. But yeah, to get in line with this kind of thing, I don't know. It's not even the fact that it's limited edition kind of a thing here, because only ASUS and I think other brand, I think MSI is trying to get around and implement something like this also. It's not about this, it's the technology itself. As you can see, the traces here, I don't know where the power is coming from the PSU, how much the traces are to have to travel until it gets to the connector here. The fact that it's a lot of heat is going to be generated around this area, I don't know how it's going to influence the motherboard chip, which usually it's around this part, or even the DRAM kind of a thing there, and how the overall heating dissipation will work in a motherboard like this. Yeah, it's a lot of drawbacks for me in terms of ease of use and repairability of if something goes wrong. But yeah, they are pushing hard on this one. They see if it sticks. But yeah, and the fact that 600 powers in this small connector, again, I don't think it's the best way to handle this, but I think this mitigates a little bit because the 12 volt power kind of a thing there, because each trace can be directly deliver power directly, so there is no connector then has to be distributed from the motherboard. I think throughout traces you can deliver directly to the components that need more power, so I don't know. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know enough to let you know, but yeah, in terms of overall architecture of this thing, I'm not sure yet. I need to see some huge reviews, like thermal reviews, people watching the thermals, pushing the GPUs to the limits, and see if it's something that might worry in the long term. But yeah, I'm really on reticent on adopting this kind of technology. And lastly, not in terms of hardware, but at least from this part of new technologies, we got VESA DisplayPort 2.1a. I think the last one that came out was 2.1. Now you got the Appendix A. It's this standard now is official. Supposedly it's going to boost quality, adoption of refresh rates, and lengthier cables. Yeah, supposedly this update is certified like DP440 ultra high bitrate ultra high bitrate cable specifications. Supposedly it was like 10, now it's 13.5. This is a lot of tech specific things, but basically it can handle supposedly 8K2K. I don't know what this is. 8K2K. 8K2K, I don't know what it is, but supposedly it's 8K240. I'm not sure if it is what it means here, but at least 2K 240 and 4K 120 over 4 lanes. I assume this is what they are aiming for, because it's a lot of detailed technical stuff here. But the main thing is the cable can be double length. Previously was 1 meter. Now it's you can just put a 2 meter. 2 meter cable, yes, and will be compliant with this kind of 2.1a kind of a thing. So you don't need to glue the monitor to the case, basically. Yeah, it's good to see if it improve. I wanted some improvements regarding more about the cable lengths here, so you don't have to constrain yourself when assembling a system. But yeah, it's good to see that it is evolving. We just need the GPUs to handle this kind of 4K 120 Hertz. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And lastly, finally, we got monitor stuff. There's been a lot of monitors, and trying to keep track of the OLED monitor especially, it's a little bit daunting for me. So I managed to check Monitors Unbox 30 new OLED monitors in 2024. It goes about 4K, 1440p, and ultra wides. It goes about basically all the 30 new OLED monitors and the panels that they use, the kind of technologies. It's very simple to follow. It's 20 minutes long, give or take, so I think it's a very concise video overall in terms of what should be coming in this year here. And of course I will leave a link on the videos and all the articles that I've been covering here. And for the gaming part, there was like some rumblings that the Xbox showcase was about to happen, not about to happen, but now it's confirmed. There's going to be a developer direct, so basically it's a more focused one. Supposedly it's like 40 something minutes, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And you're going to see stuff like Oxide Games, which has, I think I covered this game here, like a screenshots or something like that. We got Obsidian Avowed, Ninja Furies, Hellblade Shenmue Saga 2, and the most interesting one is MachineGames, the Indiana Jones game there. Which are the same guys from Wolfenstein, the reboot Wolfenstein stuff. Yeah, it's going to be 18th of January. Again, I will watch it because, oh boy, every time I press something. Sorry, I got distracted there. Yeah, I'm most interested on the MachineGames here because this one, Ninja Fury and Obsidian Vow, they will come this year. There is some rumblings regarding the Indiana Jones games, and this one I think it's just a more in-depth kind of thing with maybe some oh my god, with some trailer or something like that. But yeah, maybe some CGI because I think it's only screenshots that we saw about this game. But yeah, I will try to catch up because all of these games will come to PC for sure. So that's why I keep on tracks with the Xbox stuff there. Yeah, doesn't seem to say the estimate duration. Yeah, doesn't seem to say. But again, being more focused on the Indiana Jones games, I covered this rumor somewhere. I think it had to do with when they started the acquisition of Microsoft, the acquisition of Bethesda. Some leaked documents came out for some plans of Bethesda regarding the Indiana Jones games. And yeah, supposedly. We might not see a 2024 release, even though there is a speculation that it might happen, because at least these two games, Hellblade 2 and Avowed, are going to launch this year for sure. For sure, at least they are planned to launch this year. We might get like end of the year release date, even though I think it was announced in 2021, the tease for this game, Indiana Jones game. We will have to wait and see. But yeah, like the main quote here, or the main quote is MachineGames, award-winning studio behind recent Wolfenstein series, will reveal the upcoming Indiana Jones game, an action adventure that puts players in the legendary knowledge. Developer Direct will showcase more than 10 minutes of game and developer insights. Is the 10 minutes of game what? Gameplay? I don't know. Including details about the game settings and story, which is always good, and how fans will actually play as Indy, which is always good to have this idea, and additional details from his next globe-trotting adventure and the premiere of the first gameplay trailer. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this is a good game. It's not something that it's been ruined like the last two movies, because in my head there is only 3 movies in my head as canon. But yeah, even though the series was not that bad. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. January, only 8 days, January 18th. And yeah, regarding other stuff, we got also, this come from CES, but it's like a trailer of Horizon Forbidden West, early PC comparisons with the DLSS stuff and all that stuff. There is this comparison video. I thought weird at first, the comparison they was making, but basically they are comparing PS5 to PC. But yeah, there is a difference in resolution. That's one of the things I was thought weird, and I thought, is this 4K to 4K? But it's not. It's 4K to 1440p, if not mistaken, being the 1440p upscale technology from PS5, not mistaken, upscale to 4K. But it still doesn't have a fixed schedule release date, except maybe coming this year on PC. I still have to get the first one, get around the first one, but yeah, we'll have to wait. As you know, I'm trying to catch up with 5 years of gaming at least. It's going to be a tricky one, but I'm interested in playing at least the first one and see how it goes. But yeah, the trailer itself very interesting to see the differences. Even though they highlighted the reflex stuff, but yeah, it is what it is. It's PC. It's always better on than on consoles. But yeah, yeah, seems interesting here. And we also have from basically from Xbox, they are looking to fix Forza Motorsport car progression system, AI, and race regulations this year. Yeah, I was kind of not hyped, but hoping that this game was at a little bit better than Gran Turismo 7, at least according to people that play the game and people that I watched. And yeah, it has some issues, especially in the car progression things. Just the fact that every time you buy a car, even if it is like the same model, you have to go through the the car XP kind of a grind there. It's yeah, you cannot have like two. It doesn't compensate to have two cars equal. You have to grind it through. It's not good, and I think the AI is not superb here. And race regulations are also a little bit janky. And yeah, supposedly they are going to work on this year. I don't know, and maybe introduce more tracks and more cars. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still waiting. This game is in a playable form to probably give it a go. I don't know, but until it doesn't improve, I will wait. That's usually my philosophy regarding games. Even if I'm interested, I prefer to wait a little bit more until it's a more playable state than to play it on a not good playable state and then I will not play it again. Because even if they improve it, it's the first experience that I had just ruined it for me. But yeah, and lastly, we got here more article in a deep dive, and we have a video also from Faxter Live regarding Crimson Desert. I think there was a trailer on TGA from last year with this game, but this game is it's evolved because supposedly it was a sequel for Black Desert Online, the MMO that they did, or they are still maintaining. Yeah, I'm pretty interested. It was also to be an MMO, but they morphed into action RPG for single player. That's why it piqued my interest, and it seems that it's evolving to be, in terms of game, a very good one. There is kind of a joke here. The game is set to be a single and generate tons of hype from looking like the merged creation of 15 different RPGs games, literally giving in the title Assassin's Fantasy 15, Elden Witcher, Scrolls of Tsushima. So there is a lot of boring mechanics here, and they kind of merge to a certain degree in this game, but even though it seems a little bit confusing trying to amalgamate all these kind of things, if it is well integrated, it can be a very, very, very good game. The game has been developed since 2018. There is no like sure release date. I'm not sure if they're aiming to release this year or having more news regarding this year. But yeah, it's something I'm keeping track per se on. Every time I see news, I see if we have more details or not. But yeah, this article goes a little bit more in depth of some speculation and some stuff that we know. Basically, you're going to play Macduff, the world of Pywell. Again, I don't know anything about Black Desert Online. I assume it's kind of the same vein here, like the same universe, but I'm not sure. From what has been shown, there is another region called vast plains, a named desert, forest, rocky plateaus, and mountain regions. So there is a lot of variety in the biome stuff there. Yeah, and there is more stuff around. So the variety is huge. Supposedly, the technology of the world is kind of medieval, with some few technological advancements, like pistols, cannons, and the things like this. And I think that they discover alchemy throughout this universe while we play it. I'm not sure, which is going to allow like projectiles with some kind of additional abilities, like elemental damages. It's what I wanted to say. Basically, the setup is the King of Demonis, Demonis in the Fire of Lands, who has fallen into a coma. This prompted political chaos, so it's going to be a lot of struggle. For sure, there are factions just want to because the land was unified. They just want to separatists, and others want to take power, hold that power and that rule. So it's going to be a lot of political intrigue, I suppose. But yeah, and basically you're just. I think you're not. At least there is no insights of what you are. In terms, you are from a land far away, something like that. But there is no. You're like a leader of a faction that was supposed to do something, and in the meantime, this guy fall into a coma. I think you are like a random guy, like the normal hero story, and then you have to deal with all these things. I assume, but when we have more details regarding the character story, I will let you know. The world inside of the map is various biomes. As I mentioned, the player will encounter hostile wildlife, massive crabs, similar to Dark Souls, or a pack of wolves alongside herbs and materials. So the biome will have wildlife and plant life specific to that region, of course. In terms of races, so far we they showcase humans, goblins, orcs, trolls, antler people, dwarves, and other unnamed species. So only by images you can identify. There is some identified species. Got also some means of travel that was shown up, like the balloon stuff, which is interesting. In terms of gameplay, again, the scale is huge. The basics. There are going to be side quests, main quests, like any other RPG. There will be a party system in the game. I'm not sure if it's going to be similar like Dragon's Dogma, but it's going to be a party system. And suppose you'll be able to recruit mercenaries and earn their support by gaining their respect and engage in battles alongside them. There's going to be also kind of a siege thing there, which is going to be interesting. But continuing here, there will be a gear to loot. Okay, so loot with the rarity system, craftings and cooking systems, and all the materials that you can gather to use this for the advantage. There is also supposedly be a day and night cycle, as well current temperature, which is shown in the HUD here. I don't know how well it's going to be influencing the survival aspect of the game. I assume it's going to have one. There is also raiding and pillaging, which is like the siege stuff. For you to invade like a fortress or something, you need siege weapons, so you need to build siege weapons. And I suppose with the guys that the mercenaries, you have to recruit them, build all the infrastructure to then raid the castle. It should be interesting, this kind of mechanic, added to the fact that it is just a RPG here. Of course, the physics associated with like wooden outposts will just collapse in splinters, and rubble in brick castles will fall down. It's very interesting. You got also some explosive mechanics here. I don't know, with the siege and battery rams and the trebuchets and all that stuff seems to be in play here. So it's going to be, that's why it's a huge amalgamation of different systems. It's a matter of how you glue themselves and how they are good in terms of the immersiveness of the game itself. It's going to be interesting to see how you can also deal. It's almost in a better way like Starfield. Starfield tried to pick up a lot of stuff from a lot of systems to try and do everything at the same time. But hopefully with this kind of engine and the capabilities of how the engine can work out these systems, and in terms of immersiveness and supposedly not having loading screens. Again, there is nothing regarding that. Supposedly there will be loading screens, of course, but I think it's going to be very fluid in the sense that you can enter buildings and travel one place to another without the loading screens, and having all these systems working in the background. Okay, there is also going to be like a crime system. I don't know if it's going to be similar like GTA kind of a thing there. The only crime that we saw the player committing is just GTA, a cart there with the horses. Probably there will be some picketing and stealing in that sense. I don't know how it's going to work. if the villagers will try to gather and catch you, or if there's going to be like a police system inside the game itself. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes in this kind of setting, in this kind of game. Again, traveling and traversing. The first thing, again, the hot air balloon can be used to fly around Pael and visit mysterious floating islands. We saw some pictures or some stills and some brief footage of that weird islands. Suppose you can take it with a hot air balloon. We have supposedly the player will have a strange power which is allowed to play with a black feathered cloak. I remember seeing something in that sense that allows them to glide through the air. Again, I don't know if it's going to be just gliding, so you can jump from high places, mountains, stuff like that, and just glide through, or if it have to be like a flying mechanism there, flying upwards, let's say, not only gliding. It's supposed you also be able to fly a massive dragon, and the dragons can do flips and barrel rolls, which is very interesting, and they will be dodging magical missiles. Okay, this seems like a dream come true in terms of gamings, but yeah, with the if it is well implemented, I think this game can be very, very good. I'm rereading all of this now, and it seems too good to be true, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But at least we are getting some official information, so at least we can put our expectations accordingly, and wait for when it's closer to the launch and have more detailed news. And again, puzzles, there are going to be some puzzles here. So far they only saw some couple of puzzles, including like beams of lighting, and minefields, like runic minefields, and some secrets, which is the only secret we have seen so far hidden. Ice platforms in a wall suspended high above the ground that are completely visible to the naked eye. So maybe you need special tools to reveal like magical stuff there. It's going to be interesting also. Then you have the combat system there, very interesting, very fluid. From the footage that we saw, that I saw at least, very in line, similar with. It has a mixture of a lot of stuff, because you supposedly can use shields. If you don't use shields, you are more agile. So the combat style changes a little bit. You can vault over characters. You can use hostages as a mechanic to fight. But I think overall terms, you're going to face usually two situations: a 1v1 scenario like mini bosses or something like that, or huge bosses where they are more dangerous, so they are more capable of killing you, and or a skirmish against multiple opponents. I think this multiple opponent stuff, it's very similar to Shadow of Mordor games, where you have, I suppose it's going to be similar like that, with where you have like similar combos. So because there seems to be like a combo system to a certain degree. So and Batman Arkham Asylum and all those games, where you just the more you link, the more powerful they get. The combos will go around very intricate and more spectacular in the way they are presented. At least it's what it seems to me. I'm not sure. But yeah, the boss battles will have focused boss battles, again, like Dark Souls supposedly, or even Elden Ring, I assume. But yeah, it seems pretty interesting. There is also a highlight here of a thing regarding combat, which is like a guy throwing lightning bolts, and after you take him out, you can basically absorb his power to a certain degree, which has lightning projectiles that you might acquire there. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. This is like the compilation of a lot of stuff that we have from the game announcements and official details that were released throughout these years. This article goes in depth with that, and it's pretty good. And of course, you can watch the video if you're not very interested in reading. But yeah, it's in production since 2018. Again, we are not expecting this year to come out. Probably next year. But then again, we saw this last trailer in the last TGAs. Maybe we'll get like in the middle of the year some update, probably regarding a release date. I assume it's going to be like Wukong. It's going to take its time until it's polished to the point that I think it's worthy. launch the game. But yeah, still very interesting on this one. Keep your eyes on it, as I will, and I will update you if I see any more new news regarding this game. And I'm going to close up with some gaming deals. We still have Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy on Epic Game Store for free. 2 more days, no, 1 more day, give or take, until it's run out of this course here. Then we have Sailforth, I don't know which game it is here. Not a deal, but something you can put it on your wish list, coming out soon, next month, which is Pacific Drive. I'm pretty excited for this game. Seems pretty interesting. I covered this game here and there regarding my anticipation for it. It's like a roguelike kind of a thing with a story-rich environment there, some survival stuff, and basically your mount is a car where you have to upgrade, maintain, and all that jazz while you go about the runs and trying to solve the mystery of the land here. Basically, that's the main thing here. As you can see, got a lot of stuff here to go through. In terms of deals, you got the Plague Tale bundle. It's only available if you buy the bundle. The games by itself are not on a deal, so it's a bundle exclusive stuff. 58% off, $30 for the 2 games. Again, it's one of those games that I want to try out one of these days. Plague Tale Innocence and Plague Tale Requiem. They seem pretty good, especially on story-wise. I think they and got some magic stuff here from the kid, I think. I don't know much about it, but the last one, the graphic fidelity is very improved in the system, the plague system I think they called it, with the rats and stuff. I remember from the first game. I don't know how this is regarding the game itself. I never played the game or watch any gameplay, but I'm very interested. And again, I try not to get spoiled, or I avoid spoilers as much as I can. We got Firewatch. I talk about this game, but yeah, I didn't have it on my watch list. I didn't even notice because I have 200 plus games on my watch list. But yeah, at this moment in time, it's 90% off, so $2. It's a very, very, very good game. It's a small game, but a narrative-driven one, and you got some mysteries here and there that you need to solve while you're going about it. But yeah, it's going to be. It's a very interesting game from what I gather, and I think it's well worth of your time, and the fact that it's very cheap. 90% off. It's $2 is very cheap. And not also in promotion, but I think it's worth its full price, even at the bundle with all the DLC stuff there. It's Vampire Survivors. Again, this seems to be my jam. I will probably one of these days just buy the game and start playing and lose time of my life on this addicting game here, at least from all the things that I see. But yeah, very interesting game, bullet hell, pixel art, very addicting from everybody that played the game. Seems that they are hooked on this one. On GOG we got Slay the Spire, 66% off. Again, excellent game, roguelike with the deck builder stuff there. Now they have this one, the time to beat thing, which is provided how long to beat from the site there. They integrated this, which is kind of interesting here. Yeah, 200 for completion is if it's very interesting to see this kind of information, which is something you don't have on Steam yet. It's something interesting. Yeah, you don't have don't have here. It usually only shows. It's something that they could integrate something like this. It's always interesting, so people can have an expectation how time we will get until we complete this. We got Spiritfarer Farewell Edition. Again, it's one of those that I'm very, very, very interesting to play. 75% off. Again, you got the completionist style thing here. We got also Darkest Dungeon. This is the base game, 80% off. But then again, you have all the DLC associated, which is also for in promotion. But I didn't manage to find out. There is no versions here. It's weird. But yeah, the DLC is also on a deal here, so I think $10 or so, or $15 maximum with all the DLC. I think it's a very decent price if you like this kind of game. And finally we got Children of Morta Complete Edition, 71% off. Again, here it doesn't have. That's interesting. Maybe it's not. Maybe yeah. If it has a database connected to it, I don't think this game is that much well known, but I think it's very interesting. the gameplay. I saw some gameplay of this game, and I'm very curious and playing this game, so that's why I'm wrapping up this game here. Seems pretty interesting on the story-wise, and gameplay seems it's roguelike, and you unlock the characters and unlock their powers and everything. Yeah, seems pretty good to me. And basically that's it. It's been a long one. I don't know how long I'll be recording here. But yeah, I'll wrap up with a plug on my Patreon for access support. Again, the access support is for storage at this moment in time, which is for me to be able to get backups of the stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, having some extra space for the videos of the channel doesn't hurt also. And I wish you a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.